Recording in progress.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Welcome to the capital planning meeting on Tuesday, March 26th. It's now 6:14 p.m. And let's get it started since we are running a bit late. Chief Boone, thank you for waiting, and the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, everybody. So our capital request is for two separate items. Our standard 3 police cruisers that we, part of our maintenance program, we try to get 3 new ones every year. Pretty straightforward. They're going to be Durangos. That's what we've transitioned to about 5 years ago, all Dodge. The quote is attached, but the total, which includes radios and our computer equipment, is a total of 204,667. And something new we're asking for, we're about 12 years old on our AEDs, our defibrillators. So we're at end of life for the firmware. We've done a pretty good job buying batteries over the last few years and keeping them updated, but we're at the point now where we really need to replace them. So the quote here is to outfit every cruiser. We did get a grant, but we were only able to get enough for 1 AED. Deputy Chief Adams did do the paperwork, and we did just actually order it. So this is for a total of 16. So we would have one in every marked car. Our detectives, myself and the deputy chief, we would all have access to one. And they will be compatible with what the fire uses, which is what we always try to do. So if we are using them on a patient, fire comes in, they can immediately get the data and transition. And it's very important life-saving equipment, and we need it.
Thank you, Chief Boone. That's pretty straightforward. We appreciate you trying to keep them alive as long as you possible, but we understand the need of making sure you have updated equipment to actually keep people alive. Does anyone on the board have any questions for the chief?
What do you guys do with the old ones?
So we'll trade them in. They do take them. The company Stryker that we use, they'll take them off of our hands. So what they do as far as refurbishing and sending them out, I don't know what they do, but they'll take them. They'll take them for us.
That's great. Yeah, no, I was an EMT for 6 years when I was in college, and
Yep.
I snowmobile in remote Maine, and it's funny. We go into these crazy places, and I saw the oldest defibrillator, something from like 25 years ago, but it still works. It's still there.
Yeah.
So it's good to see they get recycled and go somewhere useful. So.
Yeah, and our patrol staff actually used one about 3 months ago. We actually put one on and got someone over to the hospital. So
that's fantastic. It does work. It absolutely works. Yeah.
Great.
Well, thank you. No other questions or comments? Chief, I wanted to thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and we'll be glad to put this on our list to move forward.
Thank you, and thank you for the support as always, and good seeing everybody.
You too. Have a great evening.
See you too. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yep.
All right. Next up, I believe, is our fire department. Welcome, Chief Alexander.
Good evening. Good evening. I think we have Deputy Carroll in there. There he is.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
good afternoon. Good evening, Deputy Carroll. Welcome. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
All right. I'm just going to share if I can real quick. Can we see that?
Yes.
So ours is pretty straightforward as well. So we're asking, let me move everybody's faces so I can actually see what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's 2 items this year as our request. One is to replace our shift commander's vehicle, which is a pickup truck with a utility body that we use for the captain or the officer in charge to go on calls, deal with second and third calls, get out ahead of the big trucks to make command decisions ahead of time and good placement. And then our ambulance, you're familiar with the ambulance request. It's the same reasons. High run volume, they get the most wear. That's what the shift commander's vehicle looks like. It'll probably be something similar. It's 9 years old. Maintenance costs it's a hard life for these vehicles. And you'll see in the pictures the rust and rot on them is it's the same thing. I know you hear from DPW from us. but I just want to show you for the public as well. And the other thing about important is, we've such a big focus on isolation of the bad stuff, the carcinogens, everything we see that this vehicle, the gear really just has to stay in the cab with them at all times, which isn't really ideal. And going forward, we'd like to set that up in a better way with a newer vehicle now that we're more educated about this stuff. And I think that's one of the options that we'll have going forward. You can see some of the rust and rot. Those are all the different areas on the vehicle that just they're. And once it starts, it's just cost prohibitive to fix it. It doesn't. You fix it, it's like plugging a leak in a pipe. You fix the rust here, and it pops out there, and you never really get it right. That's what it'll look like, something like that. Brockton's it could be that. So basically there's three options really. You see like the utility body, you see the pickup, and you see like a Tahoe. Those are the three types. So the Tahoe gives all the room, everything's inside, but you're going to create an isolated area for the gear. This gives you, on the screen, gives you an option to have some of the pickup truck benefits, but also have a place to put your gear in the back, so it's not in the weather, but also not in the cab. And then you could have the utility body style like we showed you before. It might be this. I don't think we need to take a look at our function. We have quotes for all of them, but it's basically quoted around what you see in the picture. And it's also going to be revolved around availability, because we just found out like the state police just bought all the Tahoes. So maybe we can't get those. That may not even be an option if we wanted to go down that road. But my feeling is generally the F-150s are available, and we should be able to do something with that probably. So my inclination is that the price that we're requesting would work with any of the vehicles because they're all very similarly priced. We talked a little bit with the gear. It's modern for incident command. We currently have an F-250. We would drop it down to an F-150 or a 1500 base chassis to save on some efficiency, better maneuverability. And it's $92,000 is the request, which is the vehicle with lights, sirens, radios, and equipment. And any questions on this particular item?
No, not for me. Any of the board members?
No, it seems
Awesome.
pretty straightforward. It's actually a bargain when you really think about it.
It's crazy that we're talking about $92,000 as a bargain, but
Yep.
You can't even get some vehicles now that are family vehicles for $92,000 that don't have lights, sirens, and fire radios. It boggles my mind, but here we are.
The municipal buying power is good. I buy vehicles for my business.
I
and
wish I could buy my
crazy.
personal vehicle at the price point we get the municipal vehicles for all the way. I don't really want to go to jail, so.
Absolutely.
So the ambulance, same thing in the ambulances. We're trying to rotate the ambulances. The big thing with the ambulance is that the lead time on these things is just astronomical now. It's 2.5 years. It used to be 6 or 8 months. A lot of the bottlenecks of the chassis, you just can't get the chassis, Dodge or Ford. We're going to go with a Ford. So the last ambulance purchase that we're working on now and getting in line replaces our 2012. And then this 2016 is up because, even if we get 2.5 years from say June or July, this vehicle is going to be pretty old. And really, in an ideal world, we're trying to get these ambulances. They kind of fell behind in the past. And I think it's important because we're much busier than we used to be, that these ambulances spend 4 years in the front and 4 years in the back. So we get 8 years out of them. And that's our ultimate goal, is every ambulance will get 8 years. And on the current capital plan, that is what the rotation would be. And then once we get the bottleneck of lead time sorted out, we'll finally get our fleet in a good place where they're 8 years, and then they get retired out. And every so often we'll keep one to serve as our special operations truck, which doesn't go up very much, but it stores some important equipment. And then the times that we don't do that, we would trade the vehicle in and get that. So in this time, there'd be no trade because we're rotating them down into that role. So just normal points you hear. We've really pushed some of these ambulances pretty far. Like we still have a 2012 in service, our 2016s in service. Our 2000, we've had our an ambulance right now that's in the fleet that has had 3 engines in 3 years. And it's not that we're doing anything improper to it. It's just you can't get them from Ford, and then the aftermarket dealers that you're getting these engines from aren't necessarily the best. But there's no place to get them. And I feel bad. We're fortunate that it was actually out of warranty, because if it was in warranty, you'd have to get it from Ford. And Ford has a 2 or 3 year lead time for these engines. So there are communities around us with ambulances that was sitting at Rodman and Foxborough for a year, just sitting there, and you can't use them. So in that aspect, we're lucky. But we didn't buy 3 engines; they were warranted, but we still had to pay our mechanic to change them out, which they reimbursed us for. But it's time lost, and we're hoping to get away from these situations with the future ambulances. So, and they definitely take the biggest beating on all the fleet. They get started often, they run hard. It's very demanding work for them. So, any questions on the ambulance?
Have you guys looked at gas options for the ambulances? I know a lot of landscapers are moving in that general direction on the Ford 550s just because of the cost of the diesel components and the emission systems and all that extra expense. And they're getting the performance out of I know on the Fords are anyways on their gas stuff. I don't know what kind of mileage you guys do, annually, but the gas options seem to be more reliable than diesels for the for the intense service.
We've taken a look at that, and it's honestly, it's really just a hard decision to make because a lot of the places that do, like, I know a lot of the private ambulance companies, they buy the gas engines budgeting just to replace the engine at some point in its life. They are reliable, but they do take a beating. Their RPMs run higher. They're definitely not as heavily built as the diesels. Still in the diesel core. But the experiences I'm having have seriously questioned it, and it is possible in the next ambulance or two that you might see the conversion to gas. But I still think the value of the heavier engine's worth it. But if supply chain issues happen and the reliability issues continue, this may be the last ambulance that's diesel. So we're definitely thinking about it. It's a great question.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I have a diesel 3500, and at 40,000 miles, it lost heat. And it's just crazy that you spend so much on a vehicle and to have such a simple problem, and it's an engine related problem, but it wasn't covered under warranty. I still battle it, every year I have to flush my cooling system because it's got some manufacturing defect with the engine. But
yeah, exactly. And the emissions are a big problem too.
Oh, absolutely.
The diesel engines have all the filters on the exhaust, and filtering exhaust is not really great for reliability. And so yeah, it's definitely something to think about, and that even could change with this ambulance. I think it's a matter of looking at what's available. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that?
No, it's pretty straightforward, Chief. We are quite familiar with your requests, and we understand the need of them.
Thank you. We appreciate the support.
Any other questions from our board? Seeing none, I wanted to thank you, Chief. Oh, sorry, Wendy, were you saying something?
Nope, I'm all set.
Okay.
Rupso was able to join us during the chief's presentation, so I just wanted to mention that too.
Thank you.
So,
Well, Chief, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
you,
Have a great
sir.
night. Appreciate being on.
thank you.
All right. Last item was the minutes from our previous meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at them?
Yep.
All right. I reviewed them as well. I didn't see any issues. If I can have a motion to accept the minutes of our previous meeting.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
I second it.
All right. All those in favor? Excuse me, DiNapoli,
DiNapoli, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes.
and Blumwald, yes.
And, and Rupso?
Oh,
Roy?
oops, I'm
Rupsa,
sorry.
yes.
I don't see you, so I apologize.
Sorry.
Excellent. Okay.
Is there any other business that needs to come in front of this committee tonight?
So I think it's just a matter of setting the next meeting. So I would like to set the meeting for next week. With the school department and DPW.
Mm-hmm.
So I think looks like.
Can I just
probably-
ask a question about that? I am now employed by Easton Public Schools. Will that be a conflict of interest for me to participate in a meeting with them, or can I participate in the meeting and just? We're not voting on approving anything or
We wouldn't
moving
be
anything
voting at
around,
that
so,
point, but
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting question. I'll check with the town clerk's office
okay,
and see what, how they would advise us on that.
okay, I just wanted to be transparent.
Thank you.
Thank you. So probably looking at either Monday or Wednesday. And Wednesday would probably be, a little bit later. There's a budget subcommittee meeting on Wednesday that involves the school department. I attend those meetings too. So we would be looking at probably 6:30 or 7 o'clock if it was on Wednesday. Would that be a problem? Does anybody have a preference if it's 7 or versus 6:30 or?
No, whatever works for you, Wendy, depending on the timing of the meetings, I believe, for me.
Yes, 7's fine by me, but whatever works.
Yeah, I'm flexible next week as well, and I will make a commitment to make sure it's in my calendar.
Okay.
Great.
Very good. Oh, Christina, you've got Google too, right? For your
Yes,
calendar?
yep.
All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, so I've been
Sometimes that's
struggling
something
with
different.
it. I try and accept it in my calendar and I set alerts, but for whatever reason, Google and Microsoft are fighting and I get no alert. So I have to create a separate event for the meetings just so I can get an alert to remind me to go to the meeting. So
All right, and I'll be mindful of that too. I'll send out like a reminder email. Now that I know that it doesn't seem to work. I think I probably am the only one that gets the hour before reminder, so.
I get it.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right, so I'll send one out in.
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt, right?
All right, so
Okay.
maybe next Monday, Wednesday, you'll let us know when.
Monday or
you have a
Wednesday, I'll
meeting?
let you know, cause I gotta get that agenda posted, pretty quickly.
Correct.
We'll just, meeting with the school department tomorrow over some budget things, so we can, get that finalized tomorrow.
Mhm.
And then I'll send out an email and get the agenda posted.
Sounds great, Wendy.
Okay,
very well.
Perfect.
All
great.
right.
Thank you,
All
Wendy.
right. Thanks,
Thank you, Wendy.
everyone.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
I
wait,
we need a
excuse-
motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Wendy. May I have a
I'll
second?
second it.
Thank you, Lucas. All right, roll call. DiNapoli,
DiNapoli, yes.
Rupta,
Oh, sorry, I had to promote her back to panelist.
Oh.
She was in the audience.
Thank you. Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes.
and Blumwald, yes. Thank
Great.
you, everyone, for your
All
time.
right, thanks, everyone.
Have a
All
great
right,
evening.
Good
thanks. We'll see
night.
you.
My apologies again.
No
Good night,
worries.
No
everyone.
worries.
Thank you. You
Stay
made it work.
informed.
Yep.
Bye.